sometimes your kids are going to be mad with the decision that you're making.
Really, yeah.
And you know, one of the most dangerous things that I see in people is, so like maybe their parents were way too strong with them or whatever, daddy issues, like they got issues in the past. And so now there's this, I'm going to be friends with my kids, or this like terror that my kid's going to be upset with me someday. And so I'm not going to bring any conflict into my kid's life, which just means that you're raising a wild animal.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to The Tug of War.
Guys, it's just a conversation between two pals.
Two friends.
Two amigos.
Where we are, where we want to be, the tension, the tug, the fight to get there.
And it's hard.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What are you wearing?
Oh, listen. You see my hat? My hat is truth around here at More Church. This hat covers it all. I don't know if you can get a zoom in. If you can't see it, my hat, it says, blame Whitney.
That's right.
Soon to be in the More store. Do you think we should sell these in the More store? I don't think
Robin would buy one. And that's about it.
Blame Whitney. I can't tell you how many times something happens and people just blame Whitney. Whitney didn't have nothing to do with it, but they blame Whitney. So I figured get the hat made.
It's really funny.
You know who Mercedes helped me? Shout out Mercedes. And
Mercedes did our new shirts that we just came out. Her company did our new shirts.
Now listen, I know we got a bunch of hat makers in the church. Don't be mad. Listen, y'all be making all kind of stuff.
There's enough love to go around.
Caden did the little scripty and Mercedes plopped it on a hat. And I've got another one in the works.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that
one.
Now,
she made me two, but the other one there's a better vernacular. So the other one's in the works.
You can't blame Whitney for that one because you didn't ask me. So.
You see what I'm saying? So guys, if there's ever a problem in the church, let me just give you a little bit of advice. Blame Whitney.
Yeah.
She did it.
I did it. It's fine. What have you been up to this week?
Oh, dude, I've been up to all kinds of things. We just shot another thing in this room, so I got my Bible and my hammer.
Yeah, we look very pastoral.
You know that it's serious when Tristan brings his hammer into the
conversation.
Man, I've been up to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, you preached.
Oh, yeah, I preached. That's true.
Guys, Whitney straight dropping bombs on
Bricks.
Sunday. Yeah,
Bricks
so
and bombs.
she's walking through Joseph.
Yep.
And so, which is thrilling for me because I get to rest my brain.
Yes.
But also I get to, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thanks, friend.
So good.
Thanks.
And
You're
so
the best.
that you carrying that load has allowed me to like honestly catch up with a honey-do list.
That's good.
Around the house.
Good.
We had like a board falling off our house, like a soffit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know, it just came unnailed and unglued. So I went out there and fixed that. And then like, you know how your house has all the uplighting? Mm-hmm. Like those little lights on the front? And all of ours are broke. Oh. And so it's not just the bulbs, like rain got in them. And so I just started taking all those off and not getting electrocuted and putting new ones back on.
Good.
So that made Rachel happy. And then I went and taught a youth pastor thing.
Yeah.
The other day, I took Tyler and Micmac Cadillac with me.
Yes.
And Rachel, and we went and taught a bunch of youth pastors.
That's good.
There's a room of, 80 youth pastors, and I hit them with a little bit of devil versus default.
Come on.
They didn't even know what to do.
Yeah, they're still crying right now.
Yeah.
Digesting
and
it
so
all.
I probably only talked for 20 minutes and then opened up for a Q&A, and it was great.
I wonder what would happen to our church right now if we opened up a Q&A for devil versus default. We never opened up a Q&A.
On a Sunday?
You know what I mean? I don't know. I just thinking about it. When you said that, I'm like, well, what would even happen? I know they have questions. We've gotten a lot of questions.
Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah, that's interesting.
While we were at the thing teaching, Rachel, so we left the kids home alone. Mm-hmm. Lillian's 12, Titus is 10.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They can handle it.
Yeah.
Grandma is not just down the street. She's not too far. My mom isn't too far away.
Well, and Lorena is in the backyard.
Yeah, Lorraine's in the backyard. And so
she lives in a house in the backyard, she lives in the backyard.
We have a tent in the backyard. Yeah. We keep my mother-in-law in. No, they have a little guest house. And so they stayed. So Rachel, as we're driving to the place where I'm teaching, Rachel texts our family thread with me and the two kids. She says, hey, if you guys need anything, just let me know. And Lillian says, thanks, Mama. And Titus responds, I need something. Next text, I need more Transformers.
Of course.
So I got laughing like, the dude's shooting a shot.
Hey, he's like, you asked.
You asked. If you need anything, let me know. Mom, I need some more Transformers up in here.
There's always that kid.
Yeah.
There's the one kid who's like,
responsible, got it together.
There's the other kid who's like, hey, could you swing by and pick up this for me?
Go spend some more money, please.
Yes, that's really funny.
We've been having all the sleepovers at my house.
Yeah, it's summertime.
And I love it, but then I'm
Yeah.
also like, it means that we're making lunch and dinners and breakfast for like all y'all scrub kids.
Right.
And so I'm like, dude, I'm straight
Well, it gets hard.
working in the kitchen.
Rach and I had a conversation, I think yesterday, where it's like, this too shall pass. Like, it's hard and you love it and you're like, thank God for it. And then also, oh my gosh, when is it over? And like, it's hard to like the tug and tension of this is everything I want in life, but also wait, I want something else right now. And so summer, you get to that hot moment of like, when do they go back to life and schedule? And but then when you're in the schedule, you crave the no schedule. So it's hard.
You, because you were preaching, I was super mentally free all weekend.
This is the goal. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, and so I had a daddy-daughter date with Lillian. We love to go. We have a little coffee shop we go to, and she gets the avocado toast.
Oh, good.
And we just kind of sit and talk. And this was the first time that I felt the tweenager in her, like, slow to talk.
Yeah.
Like, usually it's like talk. Maybe she was tired. She had a sleepover 2 nights before. 2 sleepovers back to back, and then daddy-daughter with me. And so, but I was just like, push through.
Yeah.
Just keep asking questions.
Don't get insecure
and
or
once the drinks were gone and the food was eaten, bam. She was talking and we locked in and talked about all kind of funny stuff.
That's fun.
And so
but that's the goal, and that's what I'm proud of. And we've talked about it like super intentionally. Like, you are in a new level of rest and relaxation. And it's like, that's the goal for you in this. And like the goal for me in this is to like check off kind of a bucket list thing for me to do. And then also check off for you this like other new level of bucket list for you is like learning to fully just relax and be like, there's a series after that we're super excited about, but you're not like mentally planning it and preparing it yet, even though you want to. You're letting your brain rest so that it will be prepared to do just that.
Yeah, I'm actively like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hiding myself. Because like there's a part of me that wants to get to work on the series right now.
Yeah.
And then the other part of me is wrestling that side and saying, no, dude, don't start writing sermons that you don't have to preach for 5 weeks.
Yeah, relax.
And so I'm actively wrestling it. I collect hammers.
Yes.
And so the last 2 weekends I find a hammer that I like on Facebook Marketplace or something, and I'll drive an hour.
Yeah.
Just to like
decompress
and like I'll listen to a podcast and I'll drive somewhere, and my little Ford Ranger doesn't even burn gas.
Right.
It just gets forever gas mileage, which is incredible.
Corn oil.
It just goes. And so I drove, and I decided I've got over 300 hammers, and so I think it's wall time. I got to do the wall in the office.
It's funny because when you first brought them up, you're like, but I don't yet have enough to do a wall, and I was like, you might have enough to do 4 walls.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But it's going to look awesome. I'm excited for it.
But you know what I want to do?
What?
I don't know if I've told you this. I don't know if I've ever said this publicly. I've only told Rachel. You know what I want to do with all the hammers?
What?
At my funeral, I want them to take all the hammers and put them on tables, and everybody gets a hammer when they leave.
I'm going to go write my name on the one I want.
Isn't that good?
That's implying that you die before me.
I'm outliving all
You're
y'all
live
scrubs.
To 100. We know.
I'm going to be like a roach.
Like a roach.
Just old man trusting.
The man won't die.
Just around.
That's
I'm going to be
hilarious.
100. I'm going to be the dude mowing the lawn for the church.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
who's that guy? Who's the maintenance man? Oh, Trustin?
No. He's out there. He's out there.
He's out there. I don't know why he's mowing the lawn. That's what he's doing.
We have a gravel parking lot. Why is he mowing the lawn?
No, what I really want to do is I want our church to buy a campground.
Oh, I know. We
And
all
then
want to do that.
at like 80,
Rachel believes
I can go and be like the campground, the groundskeeper at the campground.
You can be the camp nurse.
I'm not the camp nurse. Forget these kids. Rub some dirt in it. I'm going to be driving a tractor around
I love it.
on a little
That
golf
would be
cart.
fun.
Can't you see Rachel there's 80-year-old? She got 300 chickens.
She has, the garden. Oh, you got new chickens.
You tell the story. You're probably more up to date on the chickens because Rachel will be sending Whitney voice memos all the time.
Yes. So yesterday, Rachel sent
You can't tell all of it.
I can't tell all of it.
Okay.
Because then somebody might get arrested. But yesterday she sends a video and she's like, guys, you will not believe it if I told you.
I'm not there. I'm here working.
I'm like, but you're going to tell us, right? And so she tells the story. She is driving behind Target and she sees a lady chasing.
2 ladies frantically.
And she gets out of the car because Rachel's nice as we've always said, Rachel's nicer than anyone else. And so she's like, I'll help you with whatever you're chasing.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out they're chasing 2 chickens.
Right, behind Target.
Behind Target.
Mansfield.
And so she's like, oh, let me help you. I have chickens. I know how to catch chickens. I will help you catch your chickens.
So absurd. What is my life?
And these ladies are like, oh, they're not our chickens.
So they catch them.
They catch the chickens.
And then don't know what to do with them.
Then Rachel takes a picture whoosh, with the chickens, which is my favorite thing. I was like, the fact that you got these ladies to take your picture with the chickens before you decided what to do with the chickens is the best. But anyway, so Rachel puts them in her car.
And then tells me I'm bringing 2 chickens home.
They found them in the dumpster. So this is the question I have not got to ask her yet. Were these ladies dumpster diving? Like,
oh, or did they? Yeah, they open it and the chickens were like,
they,
yeah. And they
were they throwing
out.
away like people like our dumpster here? People put trash in. Don't do that; it's rude.
Yeah.
But people put their trash in our dumpster. Maybe they were doing that. I don't know what they're doing, but somehow they found these chickens in the dumpster.
Yeah. So
and then I think when they were pulling them out, they flew off and they ran away.
Yeah.
And then they caught them. So Rachel brings them home. We'll come to find out they're not just regular chickens. They are fighting roosters.
Yeah. They're fighting roosters that are bred to kill.
Yes. And so Rachel has all kind of contacts because she grew up in a family that's in the mafia. So she's got all, I'm just kidding. I don't know. She has all kind of contacts. So she reached out to somebody that she knows that has the information. And they said, yes, those are roosters that fight. Get them traded as quickly as you can.
So she just posts on some chicken page of Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And today some guy trades these 2 roosters
for 3 hens.
For 3 chickens. Here's a picture. And so now this happened today while I'm at work. So now I'm going to go home to 4 chickens.
We're having
we only
a
had
staff
1.
meeting, like talking about serious things of the Lord for the church. And then I was like, Tristan, did you look at your phone? And I'm laughing so hard. And he's like, what? And I'm like, look at your phone right now. You have now 4 chickens at your house.
I live in a neighborhood. We do not live on a
You're legally allowed
plantation.
to have 5, I think.
Don't tell her that, Rachel. You're allowed to have 3.
Oh, or
I don't know. I'm kidding.
But now you have 4 chickens and 4 people in your house and 1 egg per day per hen. Therefore, you don't have to buy eggs ever again.
We be going through some eggs at the Baba house.
Yeah. You probably eat 5 dozen eggs like Gaston. What is it?
Yeah.
That's what I always think of when it comes to eggs. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have a little trauma. I have a little trauma of Gaston. Because people have like teased me about.
Oh, I wasn't teasing.
No, I know you're not teasing me, but then I'm like, it's kind of a compliment.
Right. I was
for people to like mockingly call you.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen Beauty and the Beast in 300 years.
I mean, he's not like.
Is he kind of
the love interest? So that's why.
He's not the love interest?
She doesn't love him.
Okay.
But he wants her to love him.
Oh, yeah.
But he has. The moral of the story is it's not about what's on the outside. So he has all of the beauty and you should want to pick him.
Oh, okay.
Because he's handsome and strong and all things.
Oh,
so it's a compliment.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think they were just mocking the amount of eggs that I would eat in my life.
Because he says like as a child, I would eat 5 dozen eggs every morning to help me get strong.
Okay.
But now that I'm grown, I eat 12 dozen eggs or something.
Dude, Whitney's got the bars.
Yeah, he sings a song about it. And so
speaking of.
Oh.
Your series that you started is an amalgamation of an idea that we've had for years, Joseph's Journey.
That's right.
And so we had Phil sing a Journey song this week.
Our people loved it.
They loved it. But Phil did not grow up in like Caucasian culture, should we call it that? I don't know if the dude have ever even heard the Journey.
Yeah, he definitely did not grow up in crazy Truss and Whitney church culture.
No, so he was shocked at how people knew this.
We're really going to sing this, and are people going to be okay with it? And they were.
When does this episode come out?
Not this week, but next week.
Oh, next week. Okay, so this week she's preaching through the story of Joseph into Potiphar's wife.
Yes.
Can you guess? Put it down before we say it in the comments. We're doing Journey loving, touching, squeezing. And so Phil was not thrilled with that.
He was not sure if we should sing those words, but it's in relation to the story about Potiphar's wife, basically talking about temptation.
Yeah.
And
so I said, dude, if you can auto-tune me to the moon, I'll sing it. But they were like, Pastor, that we can't do it. But then Tim's just standing there.
Is he really going to sing it?
Oh yeah, Tim's standing there over in the corner, just waiting to be picked to be on the kickball team.
Sometimes Tim gets this look on his face.
Tim's in the wings. Like he doesn't say, I have an idea, but he's over there like, and
then you say, yes, Tim. And then he tells you.
So I go, I mean, Tim could sing it. And Tim goes, I mean, I could. Yeah, I'll do it. And so Tim this Sunday is singing Love and Touch and Squeeze, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, it'll be good.
And absurd.
And so by now you will already know because you will have already heard it. And if you send us an email, sorry.
So thank you for keeping my bad idea into your series.
It was funny because he was like, or you can totally do anything else. And I'm like, bro, this has been your excited creative piece of the equation for as long as we've talked about this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why would we not do it?
Yeah.
And all of the 80s, 90s babies love it.
It's Joseph's Journey, right?
Yes.
And so the Journey logo is that little beetle that has like Egyptian vibes.
Yes.
And then Joseph's in Egypt.
Hello.
And the songs line up. I'm not going to tell them all, but you're going to see them as they come. They line up with the story.
They line up. So it'll be good.
Joseph's Journey.
Yes. What were we talking about?
Blame
but if
Whitney.
It doesn't go good,
blame Whitney. Yeah, blame Whitney. You don't like Love and Touch and Squeezing? What? It wasn't me. Blame Whitney.
She's the lady preaching.
She's the lady preaching. What? I'm just take the week off.
It's funny though because the longer we work together now a long time, 15 years, and like over the years, when people get frustrated or things go a certain way, it is what tends to happen. They get mad and it's like, what are you mad at? But then they don't realize somebody has to make a decision. Like leadership is leading, is making decisions, is pointing us in the right direction. And so like it's become a joke just because of how often people are mad at me. But it's really because, somebody had to make the decision and I made it. And so we were talking about it and joking about it. And then we're like, actually, this is probably something we should talk about because when we first started working together, was a, what is the word? Not historic, but like a chronic people pleaser. Chronic people pleaser.
Don't be upset with me.
Part of my defaults, part of my upbringing, part of my damages was I want you to love me and I want you to know my heart and I don't want you to be mad at me and I'll go this direction and hurt myself in order for you to not be mad at me.
And then you get linked up with me.
Yeah, and
who's
it's like
the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah, and it's like either you got to jump on the train and go, or you got to just sit stuck because you don't want anyone to be mad at you.
My mom found she was digging through a box and found all my report cards. Bro, I was a baby's kid.
What does that mean?
I was a bad kid.
Babies.
Baby. Maybe it's a Flint thing. I don't know. I was always in trouble. Always just doing dumb junk. Like every teacher comment was like, Trustin won't sit still. He won't stay in his seat. He keeps on talking.
Yeah.
He threw a kid's backpack out the school bus window. He just the craziest stuff is written on these cards. And it just is funny that God linked together like 4.0, never had detention to like, what? I'll take the principal's car for a test drive without him knowing. You know, like the craziest two he put together.
Yes.
And so then you're connected and in a leadership role.
Yeah.
We would make a decision and then you have to
Well, I mean,
implement.
The nature of the executive pastor is to execute the vision of the pastor and the church and the team. And so it's like, that's the job. And so it's like, you either want the job or not, you know?
Right. And so the joke of blame Whitney is like, we'll sit around and come up with a decision and then she's executing the thing and then people are mad.
And then people are mad.
But like, little did you know, either I said it or the team collectively made the decision.
Right. And I think that that's just part of leadership, that if you find yourself trying to go into the next level, maybe it's your fear of what people are going to think. It's your fear of, are they going to be mad at me? It's your fear of having to make the decision that's holding you back to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think more often than not, I mean, that's when we talk to people, you and I, passing off some responsibility this year. We've passed off to Enrique, to Tim. And one of the hardest struggles they've had already is just, no, it's okay. If they're frustrated, it's okay. If people get mad, I have to do what I have to do to take the next step.
Leaders bring clarity.
Yes.
And when a leader brings clarity, that means they're eliminating confusion. And when you eliminate confusion, that means you have to get people to change what they're doing.
Right. It often brings conflict.
It brings conflict.
Word.
And so anytime there's change, there's conflict.
Right.
And there's not a decision that we've made as leaders that someone didn't get a little bent out of shape about it.
Well, what is it? You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time.
Right.
You really can't even please all of the people some of the time. You're always going to make somebody frustrated.
You hear people, the music's too loud. Okay. So you turn the music down and then you say, this church has lost its passion.
Right.
It's like, oh,
wait.
This church is no longer spirit led. It's like, oh, no, we're just turning it. So if we turn it down, some people are happy and some people are mad. If we turn it up, some people are mad and some people are happy. We need to add another service. Mm-hmm. And so the evangelistically minded people, we need to add another service. There's not enough seats. If we added another service, you're working us too hard. All you care about is numbers. This church is too big for me.
Yes.
No matter what, literally, no matter what you do.
You pick a date for a class. You pick a date for
this is a hard
camp.
one.
You pick a date for whether it's a day of the week, like when we've done Reengage. Well, that eliminates certain people if we do it on Monday, or it eliminates other people if we do it on Thursday. Mm-hmm. If we picked camp, one of our favorite people in the world, Maddie Rodriguez, she has cheer camp. Oh, that
was a sad one. Yeah.
And it interfered with her being able to go to church camp because she had already signed up for cheer camp, and that's sad. And Maddie didn't get bent out of shape because she's Maddie and wonderful, but it is a decision that had to be made that then hurts somebody else.
Sometimes as a leader, you've got a gun with a bullet in it.
Oof.
And you have to choose to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
And that's really hard.
It's super hard.
There's moments where you're like that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Because either Maddie cannot go to camp because she has cheer, or the Baba kid, or not, I don't put my kids in it. Or this leader and these four other people can't go to camp. I was going
to say, the piece of it that sucks is usually it's not as simple as this or this.
Right.
Because it was all
complex.
of the other factors. This is the only week that we can go in the calendar based on when the campground is available,
right,
based on the number of kids that we want to take to camp, based on
the budget,
based on the travel.
And so unfortunately,
it's chosen.
You got to shoot somebody.
And then it ends up shooting someone inevitably. And I think that's the part that people don't always realize. If you've never been in leadership before, then sometimes you can't put that hat on.
Right.
I think that's something you and I had to learn early on in our leadership was, hey, some of these people that have been out of shape with us, they've never led anything before.
Right.
And that was a pill that we had to swallow. It's not bad. They're lame or you're not a leader. That's not what I'm saying. You've just not yet had to be at this decision-making moment that we've had to be at. So now I can have the empathy for your frustration. I can have the grace to extend to you to say, I'm not mad at you back. You just don't understand. And that's okay. And when I could finally do that, I think that was the first level for me of the people pleasing that I had to realize they don't know, the cost of the equation. They don't know all that we've had to put into the equation, the evaluation of the steps. And they can't quantify that because they've never had to do it. And so, they're not really mad at me. They're just mad at the decision, which inevitably makes them mad at me. That's fine. But that's okay. They just can't understand.
Yeah.
And when I could do that, it was the first step to being able to make some of the harder ones.
Yeah.
What?
It's just, there's never a big win or a victory in any kind of leadership without also a few losses.
Yeah.
Without a couple things that didn't go well and somebody's been out of shape about it because of the schedule or the time or why didn't you ask me? We're doing this new thing here. I've never seen it done before where we're having people in the church preach.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been amazing. But what it also does is it creates in some people, well, why didn't they ask me? Mm-hmm. Why did they ask them and they didn't ask me? And so what happens is people can get a little frustrated, man, why am I being overlooked? No, dude, it's not that you're being overlooked. It's just for what we're teaching and the season and the moment that this is who God said and who we felt it fit. And we can't have 30 people preach. We could only have 4. And so, but sometimes you have to write somebody's name down to do something, and that means you're not writing somebody's name down to do something.
Well, you just said, even in teaching our team just a few hours ago, we were teaching something. You said we have to determine the content before the person.
Right.
And And again, that's a leadership lesson that we had to learn, where it's like, it's easy, especially in people pleasing, to go, well, I want to pick these people so they're happy.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the bigger overarching thing is our job is to create content that we bring to the people that God's brought us to help lead and to love and to steward. And so this is actually what has to take precedence over this. And that's the piece of leadership is learning to prioritize and balancing the weight of different things. It's not even every variable doesn't even have the same level of weight when you're making a decision. And that's a hard piece too, as a leader, that, well, man, it cost this amount of money. Well, and then it was on this amount, took this much amount of time, and these certain people, and the each piece of the equation has a different weight, and only really those of you who are leading it can fully know and understand that. And it's hard because you wish you could make everyone happy. I don't want people to feel left out, overlooked, disrespected, whatever they feel, but yet it wasn't about that, and I can't weigh all of those pieces into the decision and being made.
It's just a perspective issue that a lot of times people, unless they're leading something, they don't have. Because you know who has a lot of grace for us is people that are leading their own business. Or have a staff that they lead. They understand like the complexity of how stuff doesn't always go perfectly. But if you haven't ever done anything, that sounds really harsh.
No,
but like,
if you haven't sat
led
in that seat.
Yeah, if you haven't sat in that seat, it's hard to just have perspective. It's like, oh, this is a great example. When Rachel and I first started dating, she would get really annoyed with me because anytime we would go to a restaurant, if like our table wasn't ready or my food was wrong, I would get like pretty agitated. And she said it's because I'd never worked in a restaurant. And like, because I never worked now I've had 100 jobs, but I was never a server. And because I've never been a server, I didn't understand empathy for the job.
The complexity.
Like, how hard is it to grill a burger and have a lady carry it out here to me? That's what I thought. But like, being married to Rachel, she would talk to me about how it is to be in the weeds and what happens if your kitchen is doing a bad job, or if the kitchen's slammed because there's a big table. And like, I didn't understand any of it until Rachel started to mentor me. And so now I have all the patience in the world at a restaurant because I've been exposed.
Maybe this lady has 7 tables that she's juggling.
Or maybe the dude in the kitchen's a bum. And it's not even on her. Or like, man, I came here at 6:30 on a Friday. Maybe it's going to take a little while.
You know? No, it's really good. I remember
but in leadership, when we haven't, when we don't lead anything at that level, it's easy to nitpick what's went wrong.
No, I remember a long time ago, we had to let someone go that didn't work out with. And someone that we were close to in the church was frustrated about it. And they're like, I don't understand why you let them go. They seemed like such nice people. And I don't understand because they're kind. And it's like, I know they're kind, and you said, hey, if you at your job continue to show up and someone else is there and they also have responsibility, but they're not doing it, and you keep having to pick up the slack for them, you keep having to do their job for them, they keep showing up late, they keep leaving early, they keep no showing on getting the project done, and you're the one having to pick up the slack, and your boss does nothing about it, how would you feel? And
they're like, well, that has happened to me and it's really frustrating. Like, exactly.
And you were like, so would you want your boss to come in and take care of that and deal with it? And they were like, yeah, I never thought of it that way.
And so I didn't fire that person because they're not nice. I had to fire that person because they weren't doing their job. And it's like, this is tithe money.
This is the widow's mites tithes, like, for real. And like, this is a serious piece. And so as leaders, the responsibility, that goes along with leading is that also we're responsible to be stewards of what we're leading. And so that means the employees that we have, that means the culture that is being set for those people, that means the money that's being paid to them. It's all the pieces. And I think it's easy to sit, I think your restaurant illustration is such a great example of, it's easy to sit in a seat
in a pew or
in a spot when we have no context
Right.
of what other people are leading, what other people's decisions are, what they're making, like all of the pieces, we don't have the context. And so because we don't, then I think it's easy to be frustrated instead of recognizing I have no idea what it takes.
You know, one of the reasons, this might be a tangent that I shouldn't even put in here, but one of the reasons that I don't rail real hard against like all the political stuff is because I understand how much I don't comprehend its complexity.
Right.
And I watch these protests, and this is not just like current, this is like way back, people have been protesting all the time. And it's like a bunch of 20-year-olds that like might have a job, might live at their parents' house, like don't have a ton of responsibility, and they're like yelling and screaming about how somebody else should do something. And it's like, y'all can't lead yourselves out of a paper sack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you don't understand the complexity here. And so sometimes I keep my mouth shut with some of it because I'm like, dude, I know I don't know how confusing all this is.
And I know that I only know what I'm supposed to lead and be responsible for.
Yeah.
And I think that's something else of it is like in the lane that you're running in, whoever you are, whatever you're leading, whatever you're doing, don't get so hung up on other people, the way they're even leading. You and I, for a long time, we had to learn the way we're called to do what we're called to do.
Yeah.
And to disconnect from trying to look like somebody else's church or somebody else's leadership or somebody else's, and recognize, well, that's just not the way we've been called to do it.
Yeah.
And so you have to know who you are and the type of leader you are. And then you have to hold fast to those convictions and say, this is how I'm choosing to lead and going to lead no matter what, because we're the only ones who have the context for what we're leading, and you're the only one who has the context for what you're leading, you know?
Okay, so as a, self-admitted chronic people pleaser,
Yes.
how did you start to step into, like, guys, this hat is real. Like, people blame Whitney and get mad at Whitney for stuff that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's now a mantra, but like, how did you go from people pleasing to now just being like, it's okay?
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be upset because I don't understand. What is that? So to somebody who is like still in chronic people pleasing, what are the steps, or what do they do?
Well, how bad do you want what you're trying to achieve?
Okay.
I think that
Keep the end in mind.
keep the end, the goal in mind. And then you said a great thing about like when you're winning, you're always also losing. But I had to really start paying attention to the wins.
Okay.
And going, yes, there were some complaints or there was some frustration or there was some, but let's see the fruit of what actually happened. And then again, the weight thing is a piece that I'm still trying to navigate and figure out. But like, I have to put more weight on that than I do one person's criticism who doesn't fully understand or have the concept and the piece of it. So the end in mind piece, the first one I said, you and I were very intentional about the type of culture we were trying to create. And the culture, we would say culture's king, culture is the king.
Yeah.
Of like everything we're making a decision about, it has to first line up with the culture that we're trying to create. And that is really hard. But when we made that the decision, then everything had to point to that first.
Yeah, our values.
The values
were
of
like,
who
we're
we
gonna
are
die
and how
for
we
our
do what
values.
we do. And so like we had to create the values.
Which, if you're new, we did a whole long series on values here on the Tug.
Yeah. And so like I think once we established the values that we used to joke, it's not even joking, but I still teach the team that as they're like leading, the values were the bad guy, not me.
Yes.
And so you can say my name, and you can say that I'm the one you're mad at, but it's really the values that you're mad at. And then now they're the bad guy. That's okay. And I also, they get to be my scapegoat in that, like, I'm
great.
sorry, my job is to hold us to these values.
Yeah.
And so you can be mad at me, but it wasn't really me, it was them. And so like
the value.
that let me off the hook.
Yeah.
And now it's a decision I had to make.
You had to be the one to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I had
but,
to, and I had to make the decision that even though they're saying my name, I have to understand that was the thing.
Right.
And I can keep choosing to hear it as at me and be sad about it, or I can recognize if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, then everything else will have to fall into
So
place.
let me just give an example. I get emails all the time from evangelists and like other pastor traveling speakers that
Yeah.
want to come to more church and speak.
Yeah.
All the time. Some of these guys I've known for half my life. And they want to come in, they want to do a class, they want me to pay them, they
Right.
want to do something. But our value is that this house is built on sons and daughters.
Right.
That's our value. And so like, it used to be really hard for me to tell them no. And I used to like have 8 back and forth emails with these guys
Right.
about, sorry, our schedule, man, is so busy, or the money or something. And now I'm just like, man, hey, thank you. It's not our culture. We don't do a ton of guest speakers right now. We're building voices in the house. So no. And like, I'm now cool if they're mad at me. I'm cool if they send me an email about how the Bible says that there are multiple offices and evangelist is one of those. And as a pastor, I need to support local evangelists. I'm cool with that because
Yeah.
I'm like, I am supporting local evangelists. One of them's name is Tyler Milstead.
Right.
He's on my staff. He's a local evangelist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
But it took me a little while to understand that the values that I have for me and the church, they're the it's not the bad guy, they're the barrier.
Yeah.
And it's
They're
like,
the guardrails. They're the boundaries.
you're not making me jump this.
Yes. And like, I think that really was the thing that really shifted everything for us in being able to point to, because those were predetermined decisions made in moments of clarity. And you said it before that leaders cut confusion and they speak clarity.
Yeah.
They bring confrontation, all the words, whatever. And the values were created in a moment of clarity to help define and establish the culture. What's easy to have happen in a moment of decision making, because usually decisions are made in moments of either sometimes chaos,
or
stress or
pressure makes
yeah.
you have to shift.
And so that's where the emotion can come into wanting to make the right decision to make everyone happy. I don't know. And instead it's like, oh, we have a predetermined clarity about the way we do what we do. And that sets the precedent for everything else. And so I think that was a huge piece. And then being able to, and the other part you and I had to learn is that it takes a while sometimes to see the win, the fruit, of a decision.
I think too that in the beginning you started like being really nervous.
Yeah.
About
100.
I'm about to have this conflict.
Oh, yeah, 100.
And I remember
Do it
now
scared.
I'm a little odd in my like what Whitney says about what do you say what? You say
You're so comfortable in awkward situations.
right. And
Yeah.
so like I kind of thank my dad for that because
Yeah.
me and my dad had a lot of conflict
Yeah.
together. Like my dad and I would have like deep argument.
Yeah.
And like that fostered in me this willingness to just say stuff.
You're not afraid.
I'm not afraid to just
That's
say
what I
stuff.
say. You're not afraid to run into an awkward conversation.
And so like, I remember, but the negatives, I'm not tapping
Yeah.
myself in the back because the negative side is I had to learn empathy.
Right. It's
And
the juxtaposition of each other.
She taught me empathy.
Right.
And I
you
taught her
me-
conflict.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I remember in the beginning years, you would have to talk me down and teach me empathy and let me see the person. But in the same
Yes.
side, which we did a whole podcast on the empathy list.
Yes.
And so where we would sit down and talk about like, okay, well, say this, and this is the sentence that has to be
Yeah.
said. And
We used to build conflict lists with each other, like, which was so helpful. And I think that's another piece of it. If you're a leader and you know you have to make a decision, in immature moments of leadership, this is the decision.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have to say it. I have to make the decision. And so I put it out there in the most like, there it is. And that makes it a lot easier to blame me if you say it in that way. But instead we learned like the love sandwich of conflict, of how you say something kind and
I love you,
I love you, I
care
believe
about
in
you.
you. Here's the conflict, but it's because I love you and believe in you that I had to have the conflict. But also just the right way to bring it about. And I think that that's a piece in leadership as we've, navigated and learned different types of leaders and different people is like the confidence to say, this is the decision. Here's why we're making it. Here's what the decision that we're making. And that's it. going into it with confidence rather than the timidity. Because a lot of times we want to be like, I'm sorry, and maybe you're going to get mad, and that actually brings out more you're planting seeds in people to be frustrated at you. Maybe they weren't even frustrated or thinking, like, you know what I mean? The apologeticness of that. Like, I think that's what your staunchness taught me. It's better to rip the Band-Aid off and to say it than it is to. And so that was the beautiful gift of what we've gotten to do with each other is learn how to kindly be clear, learn how to confidently speak the truth in love. And like, instead of what a lot of leaders do, I think actually causes more confusion and pain. Is that what you're doing?
On my Bible, on my Bible. So this is the Bible that I carry in my backpack and preach from and all the things. And so I had it custom made by a company to put this leather face on it. And out of all the verses in all the Bible, I chose to have one not subscribed.
Embossed or engraved?
Engraved on the back here. And it's Ephesians 4:15. It says, speak truth in love.
Yeah.
And like, it's the hammer. It's build and break. It's like build them up in love, but then break them down with truth. And so I had to put it on there because I am naturally good at truth.
Right.
But I had to put it on here to remind myself love.
Right.
But for Whit, she's good at love.
Yeah.
But had to remember truth. Now, sometimes we paint ourselves caricatures that aren't all the way true. No. Because I'm a nice guy and she's a choleric woman.
Correct.
But like,
correct.
We have to remember that balance.
But our balance of it was, I'll tell you the truth, but I'm gonna err on the love. And yours was, I'll tell you, I'll give you some love, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it first, you know. And it's like we had to learn, and I think now because of that, we're able to very, balanced, be able to lead with truth and love. In that, like, sometimes you have to bring the clarity of like, hey, we're about to tell you a decision, and it may not be easy for everyone to hear. And sometimes you need to lead with that, but mostly you need to lead with, here's the decision, and it's the best one for all the people. And I think the more we did it, and it's what you said. I mean, there's literally, I can remember at the Matlock building, staring myself in the face in the mirror before going to have a conflict conversation or going to make a decision that I knew was going to be hard for people, and just telling myself, like, you're called to do this. This is what your responsibility. You get to do it.
This is what has to happen.
This is what has to be done. No one is going to die. Everyone will be okay. You're a good leader. Go. Like, and I literally had to like give myself a pep talk to go do it. And it didn't mean there weren't tears afterward. It didn't mean it wasn't hard. Like, but it
these aren't all firings.
Oh no.
This is not like,
oh no,
worst case scenario. Sometimes this is just like, hey man, I know that
do you remember one time we had our elders and some people work really hard on this whole like salvation booklet piece of it. And we read it and it was just like, no, this is not fully what it needs to be. And we had to like basically reject all the work that they had done.
Yeah. But it taught us what it needed to be.
Correct.
Because theologically they nailed it.
Absolutely.
But like contextually for the
culture
biblical
and the people,
biblical level that people are walking in the door, it was too much.
Yes.
And so yeah, we had to tell them no, which was frustrating to those people.
I'm sure.
I mean, there's 100 things that it's like, anytime you start something and then stop it, you're killing somebody's baby.
Absolutely.
And so
we went from monthly events to quarterly events.
That was hard.
A year ago.
Yeah.
And you and I probably wrestled with that. And
because we were taking away
and
how many?
People weren't happy.
8 connection activities.
People weren't happy about it. And then now they're so thankful that we did. Like they say, this was the right decision.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we can make a decision, we can share it out. And if we would have gone based on the reaction to the first initial reaction of our decision making to people, we might have thought we made the wrong decision. But sometimes when you make a decision, you cannot let the reaction of
a few
make you change the decision that you made, because literally as I'm thinking about it, the list is going in my head of things that we've had to be like, this is a decision we've made. We know this is where God's leading us, and there are going to be people ticked about it. And at first, even sometimes it feels like, was it even the right one? Oh gosh. Yeah. But in the end it was. And it's because it's not always easy, but doing the right thing isn't always easy.
Everything we've ever done, somebody gets mad. Guys, if you're a leader, someone's going to get mad at you. It's what leadership is. When I took over the church, we're doing 3 services with like 90 people in the church. And we went back to 2. And some people are like, I can't believe the evangelism. Then when we grew and went to 3, they don't like it. Then when we grew and went to 4, they don't like it. Then we moved to the pig and a bunch. This is wild. Why a church would never go backwards? Then they get mad. Then we get the North Campus. This building's too small. We're not Baptist church. What? They get mad. Then we sell it. I can't believe you sold it. God gave us that. Then we moved to Arlington. I thought you were called to Mansfield. And like every step along the way, people have gotten so mad, but we have to just take the next right step.
But we have to do the thing that God tells you to do. A leader gives up the opportunity to ask the most asked question in the world, which is, how does this affect me?
How does this affect me?
And instead, you give up the right to ask that question, and instead you says, how does this affect us?
How does this better them?
Yeah. How does this make change, positive change for the betterment of the whole? And I think that's the piece that's like, well, it's hard, but it's the right thing. And then you asked me like how. I think the other piece is, you said at the top, like, I'm the 4.0 do the right thing student. And I think when I realized that being a leader means doing the right thing even when it's hard, then it was easier for me to quantify that, because that's what I've been trying to do my whole life following Jesus, is do the right thing, say no to drugs, say no to temptation, and when I realized, oh, I'm doing the same thing as a leader, I'm doing the right thing even when it's hard, then it was a lot easier for me to release the weight of other people's voices, because I said yes to it, and God is associated with it greatly, especially in the job that I'm leading in. But knowing like, oh, I am doing the right thing, and that then takes away the guilt or whatever of somebody not being happy with the decision.
Can we shift this just momentarily?
Always.
Into parenting?
Absolutely. I'll always go there.
Hey, moms and dads, sometimes your kids are going to be mad with the decision that you're making.
Really, yeah.
And you know, one of the most dangerous things that I see in people is, so like maybe their parents were way too strong with them, or whatever, daddy issues, like they got issues in the past. And so now there's this, I'm going to be friends with my kids, or this like terror that my kid's going to be upset with me someday. And so I'm not going to bring any conflict into my kid's life, which just means that you're raising a wild animal. Or
we've seen a lot, especially in our culture context, like of people who didn't serve Jesus for a long time, and then now have accepted Jesus. They're trying to do it that way, but because they didn't in the past, they feel shame or regret to be able to shift and change now. And I've learned that as a mom, like I'm real hard on myself for the mom I used to be versus the mom I am today, and not like I have the grace for it, but I've had to recognize like the best thing I can do for my kids is say, hey, I'm sorry. Hey, I didn't always do it right. I didn't always handle it right. But from today forward, here's how we're going to do it. And they might not like it. But as for me in my house, this is the rules. The best thing my mom used to do, because I was pastor's kid, and it's easy to get sucked into the vortex of like, we're pastors, so you do it. But my mom used to always say, my maiden name is Taylor, and so my mom used to always say, well, we make these decisions because that's how Taylors do it.
Right.
That's
even if we didn't work at the church.
Because it had nothing to do with my dad's job. It had nothing to do with being pastors. It had to do with, as for our home and our family, these are the rules we follow. And I took that into account with my kids.
I do that with our family
because it was like, oh yeah, because naturally my daughter is going to say, well, that's not what Ella's mom said. That's not what Emma's mom did. And it's like, I know, but I'm not Emma's mom. I'm not Ella's mom. I'm
Right.
your mom. And as for our family, these are the decisions. And, you know, you and I were kids. If everyone jumped off a bridge, would you too? And like, there's times in your parenting where your kids are like, yes, I want to jump off the bridge.
Yeah.
Let me be. And they seem so mad at you. But the truth is, if you do the right thing, eventually it will pay off. And like, promises are yes and amen. Train them up in the way they should go. And when they're old, they are not depart from it. Even while when they're young, they're ticked at you.
Dude, so parents, I promise you it's going to be better to fight that fight now
Yes.
than it is to hope that it just figures itself out by the time they're 18. Because by the time they're 18, they're going to be self-entitled brat
Yeah.
who never got told anything. But then life's going to hit them.
Right.
And you're going to not prepare them for life. And then it's going to be left up to a boss to deal with, and that boss is not going to give a crap. And it's going to fire them, and you're going to be mad they're still living in your house.
It's the hardest thing.
And so, like, we're raising not children, we're raising adults.
Yep.
And so, if your kids get a little bent out of shape at you every once in a while, now listen, don't be abusive and mean and overbearing, right? But in the same way that as a leader, you're the leader of your home. And so you've kind of got to be okay with that. I just heard a testimony from a mom in the church that she made her son go to camp last year. Mm-hmm. And he essentially got nothing out of it. And then she made him go again this year. Mm-hmm. And his whole life was changed.
Yeah.
He got baptized, gave a testimony.
I talked to him on Sunday, and he
There's a shift
told me,
in his spirit.
He said, I got up, I was ready for church. My parents are coming to second service, and I said, I'm not missing first.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
But I'm like, that took her being willing to be like, fine, yell at me, be mad at me, throw a fit, yell, I hate you, slam your bedroom door, whatever.
For 100 Wednesdays.
For 100 Wednesdays. That's a sermon we got to preach. 100 Wednesdays. God, that'll preach, Whitney. That's a book.
It's so good though.
100
Wednesdays.
Like, fight
It's
for the
worth
right.
fight.
It's hard, guys. And like, leadership is hard.
It's hard.
Parenting is hard. Pastoring is hard. You sent my brain. Do you want to say anything else in parenting?
No,
Or we can
it's
go,
good.
We can go back there.
No, it's good.
We got to get our timer fixed. We have a
I know.
timer in here that tells us how long we've been talking. Oh man, all right, we've been talking.
We've been talking.
There's this thing that I'm nervous about in pastor culture right now.
Oh yeah.
It's been going on for years where as pastors we're so concerned about the clicks and the views and the attendance that we start to cater our message towards, are they going to accept us and stay instead of, are we going to speak truth and love?
Yeah.
Because I could preach for a year, 52 Sundays. I could preach for a year only encouragement and only blessing. And I could tell Bible story after God has a plan for you and betterment for you. And I could Joel Osteen the crap out of you. I'm good at it. But what long-term benefit does that do? And what happens when the storm comes? The Bible says a house built on sand will be washed away in the storm. Mm-hmm. And I think that as pastors, our job is to build foundations in people. And foundations are only built with work.
Yeah.
And like, I get a little frustrated because, man, some of these guys, their platforms, their fame blows up because they're preaching these like buzzy titles and like high attraction concepts. And like, all I want is to pack the building.
Right.
But like, that's not all I want. What I want is to take the people on a journey of discipleship.
Right.
And so like, as I look back at more church, back to like phony faith.
Well, that's
and
literally
get
what I
off
was
the
going to bring
throne.
up. Is whenever I was saying a list of decisions, and then you listed like the buildings, but I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of too. Is 2022 September is when we were like, you started with get off the throne, right?
Yeah.
Or phony faith? Which was first? Phony faith. No,
Get off the throne first,
then
yeah.
phony faith, and that's when, I mean, we saw our church shrink in size. The other day, Tim said, like, you guys always say that the pig is what made our
building.
church, the building, like being in set up and tear down for so long, is what caused the church to diminish in size. And he's like, but that's not what caused it.
Yeah.
It's y'all killed Pleasant Church. And it was like a decision to kill the pleasantness and the pretendness of being the ones in charge, trying to be fancy and cute and pretty, and trying to build something in our own talent and ability and strength, and instead say, no, we're going to be who God's called us to be. We're going to do the deep, hard heart work to be actually the best humans that we can be, to build the kingdom of God here on earth. And yeah, our church did. I mean, like, if we be super transparent about it, like, we shrunk down to, like, you and I were like, should we go to Seattle and start over? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, what's going on?
But now, 3 years later, we've grown again by two-thirds again or whatever of that size, because we've been willing to stick to the decision. But for 3 years, it felt like the wrong decision on the outside, numerically, when you looked at it.
Well, and I remember sitting and writing sermons and being like, they're not going to like this.
Right.
This is not attractional, or God, it was so hard. And like, it's offending people.
Right.
And like, you see them leave.
Right. No,
but
they write an email and leave.
about all kind of, dude, the craziest stuff that hurt my feelings.
Yes.
Like, as a person, hurt my feelings so deeply, because you take it personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're a human.
But I mean, if Jesus said they're not rejecting you.
Right.
They're rejecting me.
And yet, on Sunday, I said a sentence in the message and then said, I love you. But I felt like when I said I love you, I felt like God was like, they don't need you to say that anymore.
Well, they know now. God, I'm going to weep.
And like, chair. I felt it. And I was like, good job, bro. Like, we fought through the killing it, that now they're literally here like, please, sir, can I have another?
Right. No, it's really good.
And they're willing to hear the hard stuff. And that honestly, of all the things, was one of the hardest decisions, to keep doing the right thing while watching people walk out the door, while watching people reject the truth, while watching people who you had thought you have all the potential and this decision is actually the best thing for you.
Yeah.
But you don't want it.
Right.
But you just blame Whitney, it's fine.
You've got to be okay with a hat that has your name on it that you can wear.
100.
Like, I genuinely walk around with, blame me.
Yeah.
It's Trustin's fault. Like, that's okay.
That's okay.
You can blame me. I'm just doing what my boss said.
Yep.
And I'm doing my best in this meat vehicle to do a good job at it.
Yeah.
I have so many thoughts.
High five, you're doing a good job.
I have so many thoughts, but
I'm proud of you.
But we're out of time. You too. We're doing good.
We're doing a good job.
Guys, they're going to be mad.
Yeah.
We went to a conference, a pastor's conference, and in the midst of like all these people leaving, and the pastor of the conference told the story about how he was going to get a haircut, and he's getting the haircut, and the lady cutting the hair of the guy next to him starts talking about how she used to go to his church, but she doesn't even recognize it's him. Do you remember the story?
Yeah.
And how she used to go to this church, and she's like, yeah, I used to go to that church, but I left, and they did something, and I left. And she's like, yeah, but the great thing is that on Mother's Day, they gave me a free brand new minivan. And the pastor's saying he's sitting there getting his haircut. And this lady, his church bought her she's a single mom, bought her a brand new minivan and gave it to her on Mother's Day. And she's telling this other guy jokingly that she left the church because they took the playground out of the kids area or something.
Yeah, it's something absurd that.
And he was talking about, and he said hey man, they're going to leave.
Right.
You're going to do your very best. And no matter how good you do, and can I tell you, we've done the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We've literally bought cars for people. We have replaced their air conditioners. We have done their weddings for free.
Gotten them life-changing jobs.
Whitney and I bought a guy's engagement ring for his wife. Not the church. The Babbas and the Barth bought an engagement ring, took him to the Parks Mall. And how long?
Within a year. Probably.
Within a year. Something happened?
Yeah.
We changed the date. We literally changed the date of a ministry event. And it was so frustrating to him that it turned into a root of bitterness. It was a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
In him.
Right.
And it's while we're throwing real truth bombs.
I was going to say, while we're saying grow.
And it's it's so hard because I'm like, dude, we gave you our absolute best.
Yeah.
and you're still mad. You're mad at me. But we've got to disconnect ourselves and realize they're not mad at me. We're mad at what we represent.
Yeah. And the decision,
hard.
that and I think no matter who you are, if you're a parent leading in your home, if you're a business owner leading your business, if you're a church leader leading your church, whatever it is, you have to make the hard decisions and you have to trust, let the Holy Spirit guide you. And then once you know the right answer, follow the decision and don't let anything make you question it. Because now I'm like, thank God we didn't change our minds. Like, thank God we didn't go backpedal because we were sad or scared that somebody was offended. Because now we're walking in the fruit season or the harvest of, oh, that decision was the right thing. And so it might take you a minute to see it, but do it.
Change isn't bad.
No.
I went and preached at my home church that I grew up at in Michigan.
Yes.
And so like the pastor that built the thing, the founding like guy who built the building and all the things is retired. And then another guy came in, was there like 6 years. And then now there's the new guy, and the new guy brought me in to preach as like a son of the, church. And the battle that he was fighting is like the building that was built in the early 90s is now like totally out of style.
Right.
Like green carpet, pink pews, like totally golden chandeliers. Like, dude, totally weird. Choir loft with no choir in it. Choir loft.
American flag on the stage.
Yeah, American flag and like a bunch of fake plants, like the whole thing. And he feels like he can't change any of it. But it's because, well, one, the people in the church have turned the building into a memorial to the old pastor. And so
weird.
Organizations go from movements to museums if you're not careful.
Right.
And so it's now became kind of this museum, and he's scared to lose people. And so I told him, I said, bro, you've got to declare who you are, the vision, what you're doing, why you're doing it. We're not a cruise ship. We're a fishing vessel. You've got to declare it. And then you've got to just start making changes. But he's too scared. And I went and spoke for him, I don't know how many years ago. And they're still just doing one service.
Oh.
Because he won't just rip the pews out.
Yeah.
He won't just fire the music guy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this guy's singing the same songs literally from when I was in high school.
But that's why the tug of war.
But it's not fire. It's like promote him to give him another job. Let him do something else and bring in a younger, like do something, man. Shift something. But he's scared.
That's why the tug of war is a fight and a tension and a tug.
Yeah.
Because it's hard work and it is costly and it is painful and uncomfortable. But if we want to get into the more that God has for us, we have to be willing to do hard things. And so I pray that he wakes up and does it.
Do hard things. What do we call the podcast?
Blame Whitney.
Okay, blame Whitney. Blame Whitney.
Love
Done.
y'all.
Guys, if you think that we should put the Blame Whitney hat in the store, if you think that we should, we'll do it.
We'll
do Blame Whitney and we'll put an asterisk on it.
You know that the hats of our tug of war is the most comments we got on anything is talking about the hats. Look, and
off.
it's a round bill.
Yeah,
That's what everybody likes.
Should we tell them what the other one's going to say, or should we wait till I get it?
No, wait and reveal it. Wait and reveal it. It's funny.
All right, so Blame Whitney, and then there's a Rachel one on the way.
Yeah, it's good. All right, love y'all.
See you guys.